So up until this point, we're doing exactly the same thing. Here's where it gets different. We take these 2 points and we want to pull them together. It's going to form a little fold right here, and this will flip one side or the other. So I just pull this up, and as you can see, this kind of curled in, starting to look a little more like a wonton. I crisscross these, a little bit of water, cross them, fold it over, and pinch it. So we have a wonton. So let me make a couple more of these just to show you again. I'll go back and forth on the variation of style and look. First we did the dumpling. Fold over, put a little bit of water, press it on both sides, take our cutter, and we cut on both ends. We have a little triangular dumpling. If you would rather see the dumpling more on the round style, like perhaps you're used to seeing, and you don't have the round dumpling wrappers, which are available in Asian markets. We have a few of them here locally. They're becoming more and more popular. Do the same thing, but instead of folding it this way, I like to fold it square. And then I take my little cutter and make a little half moon look. Press it all around to make sure. So let's make one more of those. We'll do 2 of each so we can have 6 little dumplings. And 2 of them will look actually like the wonton shape. I'm telling you, you can buy an easy half-hour of peace and quiet when you get your kids involved in doing this. You come home, you make that little meat mixture. They'll sit there as long as you let them make them and continue to make them. They just love it. And then you can vary the fillings and get them to eat all kinds of things that they normally wouldn't eat. Here we're doing the round one again, right around. This is just a little pastry cutter. It's got kind of a ridged wheel on it, and it cuts it and it seals it. So now we'll make one more of the other original wonton mix, or wonton shape. Always water around the edge. Remember, after we get it to this shape, we pull both corners up. That's when that little end folds in or out. We crisscross the 2 ends. We put a little bit of water on both sides so that when we crisscross, press together, fold over the edge, and just pinch it so that it crimps. And we have 6 of these great little dumpling shapes. I'm going to just put them aside right here because we're going to fry those actually in the same oil that we're going to do the potatoes with. Just wrap up these skins. When you're not using these, wrap them in plastic, and you can actually put them in the freezer because you buy them in a pack. It's probably about $3 for a pack, and you get 50 of them. So if you're not using all of them, you can just keep those right on the side of your freezer in the corner, and they'll be perfect for the next time you need them. Next, we're going to do some beef we call manly meatballs. This is a recipe that was one of Arthur Schwartz's recipes that I believe he actually got it from Alan Richman, I believe, who was a writer. And it's just such a simple recipe, and it's so good that I take this as an appetizer, and I turn it into an entire meal. We have some ground beef, and try not to use that 90% beef. You don't want it too lean. You need this one with a little bit of fat in it. We want to take some scallions, and we want to finely mince up some scallions. Not too big, because you want those scallions nice and small, so you're not biting into a whole big piece of scallion. Once you get that done, then we put that in with the ground beef, Barb, could I have those? Yeah. I'm going to get these right into the oven. We've got the apricot and we've got the turkey. Again, you can grill them, but be careful of flare-ups. Along with that beef, we put a little bit of brown sugar. Sprinkle that around in there. And a little bit of soy sauce. Very similar in the mixture to the wonton filling, except we're using beef. And this one's going to be more sweet, kind of like a teriyaki mixture because of the brown sugar. And the scallion's really going to add a little bit of a nice zip to this one in the flavor. I take big pieces of Italian bread, the big round Italian bread, and slice it so you have this big kind of half oval piece of bread. And I mix this same mixture up and put it over that big Italian bread and serve it almost like you would serve a Salisbury steak for dinner. But you have the bread kind of holding it all together in there. You'd be surprised, these simple recipes like this. Again, this one is just ground beef, brown sugar, a little bit of soy sauce, and the scallions. What a huge, wonderful flavor this will yield. We serve this a lot when we do different types of caterings with hors d'oeuvres, and people will pass up the filet mignon on toast to get to this manly meatball mixture. Sometimes we'll call it seasoned ground beef bruschetta because we think that it sounds a little bit better than manly meatball. Sounds a little bit more like a Super Bowl type of meal. And sometimes that's what it's all about, putting a nice wrapper on these things. We're going to simply take some bread, and this one is very simply done by taking a little spoon of this mixture and kind of buttering it over the bread. You want to put a nice little mound on the bread. See how I'm kind of smoothing this off on all the sides? And we just lay them out on a baking pan. And these will bake for a couple of minutes in the oven. I think while we're doing this, Barb, would you put that vent fan on? Because I'm gonna get these potatoes cooking. No real big technique here. We don't want too much. We don't want too little. Just a nice little mound that you're buttering across the top. Try not to have too much hanging off the edges because as you want people to pick these up as a finger food, we don't want them to be too messy. Get this one right in the oven as well. A quick little cleanup. And now we'll get our potatoes going. I've got this oil nicely heated. My potatoes we've dried up. Be prepared if you get a little bit of flare up. Have my temperature gauge there to make sure that the oil did not become too hot. Barb, could I have a slotted spoon there?